Good morning, welcome to Kevin Toll Reads. So today I have a book review of Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, my first Brandon Sanderson book. This book was published in 2005. It is a standalone novel in Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere universe. I did some research prior to reading this, and there's a whole plethora of opinions, and there's different reading orders, and there's collection books. You read these short stories in this book, then you read these short stories and read there's the fan base for Sanderson is just unheard of, honestly. And I try not to just jump on what's ever trending, but after a while, this so many people like this to the point where this is probably going to be really, 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 really good, and it didn't disappoint, honestly. They say that this standalone book in his Cosmere universe is a great entry point. So of the 3 books I own by Sanderson, I decided to go with this one as my start and my foray into his world, and kind of feel out him as an author and see if he's maybe something that I would enjoy. So the summary of the plot, really, you're following 3 main point of views, POVs. You have Prince Raridan, you have Princess Serene, and you have Harathan, a priest. And so kind of the summary of the book, you have this city called Elantris, and it was once inhabited by these Elantrians, who are these kind of godlike beings, and all of the Aralonians, which is one of the cities outside of Elantris, had the ability through magic to change themselves to Elantrians. But 10 years ago, there were from the setting of the book, there was this magic that was in Elantris that died, and this Rio took and affected many of the people that were Elantrians and people from Aralon, and it cursed them. And so the curse had profound effects on the main protagonists of this book, and obviously in their interactions and in strife to rule and political intrigue and religious doctrine, etc. So that's really what the book's about. But it's so much more, honestly. I mean, there's just so much to unpack here, honestly. So what I enjoyed about the book was the world building. It was superb. He really did a really good job setting this whole thing up to the point where it almost was a dislike at first, and I'll get into that. I really enjoyed the characters. Raridan was obviously one of the main characters, one of my favorites. I did like Princess Serene. I thought she was great too. She was a great, strong woman character and a great compliment to Raridan. I thought that was great. I love Galadin. I thought he was a great kind of side supporting character. I loved Kian and his family. I thought Luke Hill and the little ones, I thought they were all really great and had some fun and humor to them. I thought the pace and action was decent. The pacing of the book was great. The action was okay. I mean, Sanderson, I don't know if he's known for his action, at least not in this entry, but it was okay. I had enough to keep me going. Because I really enjoyed the political intrigue and the religious themes and the fanatics and the nuances around that. I mean, it really kept me going for the lack of, I guess, action, so to speak. I really enjoyed the magic system, the aeons and stuff like that. Learning about that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. In terms of dislikes, Sanderson is known for, in my research, because again, this is my first foray, so I can't really speak like I know everything about this author, but he's known for very in-depth world building, place setting, character development, and he's apparently not so heavily in the action, and this is true in this book. However, I think it pays off in the end. I think you get enough of it in the end, and with all the setup, I think it pays off. It took me about 30 to 40 pages really to kind of settle in. A lot of it, you're learning about this back history, and you don't really know much, and everything's kind of just so new, and which is typical of a lot of epic fantasy novels and series. And This one definitely had that a little bit, even as a standalone. But again, once you kind of get through that, I think it pays off in the end. It might turn some people away, but it didn't for me. I knew there was going to be a payoff. I just had to keep. I don't really understand what that means. I don't know what the Sheod thing is or the Riyadh thing is, and I don't know what these Aeon things are just yet. I don't know who that person is and how they relate. But if you keep on it, even not even knowing who the main people were until it kind of fleshed itself out, and it does a very good job with that. So I thought that was great as well. In terms of other dislikes, I really didn't have any. I thought the conversations were good. I thought he did character and pace and plot really well. There was definitely some twists and turns at the end as well. I didn't really mention that and what I liked, but there was some twists and turns kind of thing. I thought that was really cool towards the end as well. It kind of kept you guessing. It wasn't just, oh, well, I kind of expected this, and then you get a little bit of a twist, and it's like, well, so that was good as well. In terms of overall, obviously I enjoyed it. Rating wise, it's a 4.8. It's definitely one of the top books I've read this year. It didn't disappoint. There was a lot of hype going into this just because he's everywhere, and he has such a following and fan base that just definitely, if you do your research on him as an author, you can. There's people there's fanatics about him as an author. He's definitely one of those authors that they just take the day off from work as soon as he releases something because they want to consume it. And I can understand that. His writing is great, and it's very accessible reading. I found it very easy reading. So, again, Brandon Sanderson, my first one, Elantris, said to be one of his weaker entries. And honestly, to give you just a little story before I close this, when I was getting this book at a Barnes & Noble, I was thumbing through it right in front of where his section was, and there was a girl next to me, and she picked out one of his books and said to me, I asked her, because obviously I figured she probably read, and I said, is he any good? And she's like, yeah, and he's fantastic, and she's like, that's a great one, but I will tell you, it's his entry point, so some people don't like it as much as some of the others, and she talked my ear off for 5 minutes. So even though it's supposed to be one of his weaker entries, it's a 4.8. So it's fantastic. I highly, highly recommend, if you get a chance to try him, do so. And so that's it. Brandon Sanderson, Elantris, 4.8. Hope you're having a great day. Obviously, this won't be my last Brandon Sanderson book. Definitely am going to probably put that on next year's goals, is to get through some of that universe of his. So be on the lookout. Hope you're having a great Sunday, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.